Hey, welcome back. This is Brendan Lee with Consciousness and Skill Worldwide, founded by Peter Ralston. Here's a question. For you, in your experience, what has been a greater challenge? Facilitating people to become conscious of you yourself becoming conscious? I imagine that facilitating and teaching this stuff to have others who may have different obstacles that you may be unable to relate to can make teaching extremely difficult. Yep, that's true. A little bit of preamble for this video. I appreciate the contribution. And then so in considering where I'm coming from and what I am really trying to do with my YouTube channel and what I'm presenting to you, I'm not exactly sure that answering this question is going to provide much in the way of service towards you becoming conscious. What I see the possibilities here is maybe you grasp a little bit more about what I go through when I'm working with people, and then maybe if you are considering working with people yourself, this could be actually valuable. You will perhaps get some insight, a little bit of insight into the possibility of working with others, and if you want to facilitate other people, which hey, that's a job. So there's where I can see some value. Otherwise, it may just fall into the domain of fun opinionating, which, as usual, I don't necessarily hold that as something massively important, although, because I want to support you to improve, get better, learn, grow. You do it, that kind of stuff. So if you can create value for yourself, for you, about what I say that isn't just opinion, I would appreciate that, and I bet you would too. And thank you for your contribution. I just thought I'd share that before I get going. So for me, in my experience, what has been a greater challenge, facilitating people to become conscious or you yourself becoming conscious? That's the question. To look into the matter, I think the basic aspect is there's challenges in both, and there's challenges in me becoming conscious that don't exist in facilitation. There's challenges in facilitation that don't exist in me becoming conscious, so I can't really quantify which one is the greater challenge. However, I think what's a lot easier for me becoming conscious for myself is usually there's some sort of structure or some sort of format that I will then apply myself to that's already been created by somebody else, and then I can as if fit myself in there and then apply myself. I was taught how to contemplate, and I've also done thousands of hours of contemplation, and this is useful. So, here's a thought about that. So that's in the domain of me becoming conscious for myself, but here's a kicker. At the beginning, when I first started doing consciousness work, when I did my first enlightenment intensive when I was 18 years old, and I was either 18 or 19. I could be mistaken. So I think it was 18, and I just went for it. I had no idea what I was getting into, and oh my God, the contemplation intensive, the pain. Let me rephrase that. The pain. Ow. Why did it hurt? Because I was fantasizing the whole time. I was like this 18-year-old. I read a lot of fantasy books. I came in, all I could think about, because they said, right, communicate what comes up for you to your partner. That's like an aspect of these contemplation intensives. All I had for a week straight, and you can ask people about this, they still remember this, it was brownies, motorcycles, and women. I just was hungry. I didn't get fed enough. I wanted brownies. I was fantasizing about buying a motorcycle, which I did, but that's another story, and women. And I'm sure that the guys down the way were like, my God, they had to listen to this kid. And I have a voice that kind of carries, and I was not ashamed to just say what there was there. I just would let it rip. And I think they started, I'm almost certain they started to get pissed. Man, listen to this fucking kid down the way. I was like, it's hard because anyway, it doesn't matter. So around day 5 in a contemplation, things can get a little raw, or like somebody could do something and I may have a reaction that's just way out of proportion to what, like they might just like scratch an itch or something, and I hear that and I go off like, oh, I get real sensitive or whatever. These things can happen. They don't have to, but they can. Going back to the question, what's harder? Well, when I first started contemplation, that was hard. You see, because my mind wasn't settled down, in certain ways. I was young. I didn't know what I was doing. I wanted to leave. And thank God my dad raised me. As far as I can tell, he would always tell me, keep your word. And that was what would go through my mind. I remember walking down from the dining hall, just like, I got to get out of here. I had this overwhelming feeling of like, get me the fuck out of here. I need to leave. And then I said, nope. I said I was going to be here. Am I going to be that person that says they're going to do something and not do it? I was like, nope, no. Couldn't do it. Or do I want to be seen as that person who couldn't hack it? I'm like, I said I'd be here. I paid the money. I'm here. Just do it. But that was hard. That was really hard. All right. Now I can seemingly in certain areas, not everywhere, but I feel like I have much more capacity to control my mind. I can just settle it and be in a place for a week. I can sit down for a week. I can sit down for a couple of weeks and not talk, say. I can do stuff like that. Is it challenging? Yes, but I can, it's much easier for me to do. So you see, with training, things get easier. That's another aspect. Okay? So I can't quantify which is more difficult, you see? So that's some of the challenges I experience of me becoming conscious. Now, in terms of actually becoming conscious, there doesn't need to be a challenge anywhere. You could just bingo become conscious, all right? I want you to be open to that also, because I'm afraid that as I speak, sometimes you may develop an opinion about like the way it goes, and you'll develop a cosmology, which as far as I can tell, cosmologies just get in the way of whatever you're working on, because you might think, oh, I heard Brendan say this, that must be what's true. If you think that, I don't know. And then you'll be looking for that rather than just trying to become conscious, all right? So I wanted to add that in there to make sure to continue to support you in that effort and to have you be as free as possible in your contemplative efforts. So now, so that's some of the challenges of doing contemplation, not necessarily becoming conscious. And you see, and then there's also the fact that I have gone through years and years of study. I've gone through years and years of martial arts training, literally years. Like if you stacked up 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, years of that, not years of, I took some classes a couple times a week for 2 hours of class. I mean, 6 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day for years worth over time in 7.5 month periods, whatever. Okay, thousands upon thousands of hours of training, thousands upon thousands of hours of contemplation. So now, was that more difficult than facilitating people? I don't know, you see, but definitely a lot of work, definitely a lot of hard work. And then in terms of, so there are those things to consider. Now, some of the challenges, now facilitation, as far as I can tell, and I'm tempted to say it's much, much, much more challenging. Like teaching people martial arts, that's easy compared to facilitation. Teaching people intellectual stuff is easy by comparison. I want to say like being a college professor is probably easy by comparison to trying to facilitate somebody to become conscious, because I'm as if dealing with a mind. Now, okay, you might say, well, professor's dealing with a mind. I'm like, yeah, but that professor is not trying to get that person to realize something that they're not conscious of. They're usually trying to get them to get a piece of knowledge. Now, maybe they approach that in a psychological domain. I don't know. Screw it. I don't know. I'm not a professor, and I haven't talked to a lot of professors, so I should probably just shut up about that. But the thing for me with facilitation is that the facilitation It's so complex. I feel like I have to walk a razor's edge that if I am not careful, I could go off that edge at an instant, and I might not even know. And I'm working with individuals, and the human mind is so complex. Like, to be a self is a complex affair happening at light speed. Like you can get a glimpse of how fast this is. You know, like say you close your eyes and then open them. And you see how quickly the room appears? Scientifically, that's your mind doing that. You're reading out data and making sense of it, and the room appears. That's a massive amount of data, like almost instant. You see, or like the fact that you know what you like and don't like. You can look around a room and instantly assess whether you like or don't like pretty much everything in the room. You've already got that figured out and mapped out, and you are fast. You see, so that I'm trying to draw out for you the complexity of the human experience. In order for you to understand what I'm saying, you have to analyze. You have to, one, hear sounds, and then reference the current sound with what came before it, and then reference that with your historical knowledge about what that sound means, and then that meaning comes, boom, like instantly. You're fast. You see, so this is what we're working with, and then it gets even more complex, and people have belief systems about what they think is true and what's not true, and anything else that could possibly stand in the way. They could have a psychological bent. They could be stuck in their intellect. They could be, have even belief systems which are all over the place. Fantasies about enlightenment or martial arts. Okay, we're not talking about martial arts. Fantasies about enlightenment, or they read some spiritual books or Zen or whatever, and they've got that all wrapped up into their cosmology, and it's so powerful that it affects their very perceptive experience, and they don't even know. And we're trying to get people to become conscious of stuff like this. And so in that regard, it's very challenging. And even more, like, it challenges me as a human being because I don't get to be Brendan. What? What'd you say? You're always Brendan. No. I don't get to be like the character that I normally inhabit, going about my day and my private life or whatever. I don't get to be that one the same way. See, it's not about me, and that's perhaps one of the most challenging things. Is operating out of principles that do not support me and my individual wants and needs. See, that can be a huge challenge. And to the degree that I can, as if let myself go and then be the facilitator person, a non-personal function is the degree to which I get to be powerful. And that is a challenge, big time. And a worthy challenge for me. That's an ass kicker. And then I learned so much by facilitating others. About my own mind, the way I work, if I have reactivity, or if I get off track, or if I lose the people, I'm trying to figure out how do I get with them so that I can increase the effort and really make a difference for them. Places where I'm ignorant start to show up, because if I'm ignorant of something and I get off track, I don't even know, like this is good learning material. See, I learn a lot about people too, because I watch what people do. I get to see them relate to the work and what they have going on. It's mind-blowing. So it's like the amount of learning that's available is staggering, you see? And so that is also a big challenge. Doing martial arts and training martial arts, although it's frustrating and challenging, I think is like easy by comparison. In certain ways. So I hope that's answered those questions. And in addition to just answering a question and trying to entertain your intellect or entertain you, please consider further for yourself and extract more value than just mere entertainment. That's an invitation. I definitely want to support you in that, because that's the shit that makes a difference. Okay? This is Brennan Lee with Consciousness and Skill Worldwide, founded by Peter Relson. Thank you. Please check out my website. Links are in the description, thebrennanlee.com. Join me for a workshop, all that other good stuff. If you have any serious questions, please hit me up. You can contact me and keep your messages short. It's been real. Catch you later.